All right, class. Today we're talking about career hierarchy. So, this word hierarchy is really to just say that there are some people who are in charge and farther up who make the decisions. And then in a company or organization, pretty much anywhere you're going to work, there's always a hierarchy. And sometimes it's the people who have been there the longest, the people who started the company, or the people who are displaying the skills that the people who are currently in charge think are more important, and so they promote them. So the goal of this video is for me, Mr. McGee, to show you a little bit about how you're going to research your individual job and what the structure is. The idea was be if you understand how the structure works and what things are needed to get promoted, and then how to maybe weigh some of those decisions about do you want to do the work to get promoted, then you don't spend your time wasted in these other areas, or you don't stay in the same position for the rest of your life, right? So I'm going to go over an example of the construction manager, and I'm going to take a look on our friend Google. You can do something different than what I'm showing you, but here is a start of what it is. If you don't remember what a construction manager is, or whatever your position, just go ahead and refresh yourself. Google it. Construction project manager is a professional service that uses specialized project management techniques, oversees the planning, design, and construction of a project from beginning to the end. I could read some more definitions if I didn't understand that. I basically understand that's the guy who's trying to organize what all the workers are working on so that they don't waste a bunch of time, that they build whatever they're trying to build faster or slower. And since I was a manager, maybe I'll just shorten it to construction hierarchy. And there's one that comes up that's a chart. That might be really helpful. And then I'm going to click on a few of these. Again, right now, you're just trying out stuff, and you don't want to spend too much time looking at any one thing in case the thing that you're looking for, there's something better that explains it more. So let's try some of these images. Okay, so it looks like this one says that at the top of the organizational food chain or hierarchy is the board of directors. And then there's commercial support, management systems, and operations division. I don't really know what commercial and support is, so I'm going to say, what is commercial support? Commercial support for an activity is financial or in-kind contributions given by a commercial interest. So I'm just reading this stuff right here. And then I'm going to, again, look up words that I don't know. So I'm going to look up in-kind, add that dash mark up. Types of in-kind support. Let's take a look at the three types of in-kind donations: goods, services, and people. Okay, so then if I go back one, then I found out that commercial support for an activity is financial or in-kind contributions from commercial support. So the main thing for your own research is that you realize that you can Google words that you don't understand. And what I just did, I Googled it, then didn't understand some of the definition, and so I Googled some of the other words. Doing that is super important and will make you smarter than 90% of people when it comes to trying to figure out how do you move up at your job. Is just doing a little bit of research and then being willing to ask questions about what you don't know. So that was number one. I'm going to look more at this organizational chart. And it looks like I'm going to try to find mine, which is the construction manager. Is there anything there? I'm just reading this right now. IT, HR, training, quality. You know, this doesn't really have my position listed. So you know what? I think I'm going to X out of this and try to look at what other options are. Higher level construction officers, middle level construction managers, and lower level skilled workers. This looks, because they have construction manager, this looks more promising. I'm going to try to visit this page. Click on that. I could sign in with my Google account if I needed to. I'm just trying to get this to be bigger and get to the original place where this was written about. And this looks pretty good for actually finding out what it is, because the title right here, Construction Jobs Hierarchy, is exactly what I'm trying to figure out. And I'll remind you that I am doing this video in real time. I didn't do any prior research. So what you just saw me discover is my first attempt at it, which is good because we've only been trying for like 2 or 3 minutes. So it looks like a project manager is above a site manager or maybe on the same level as them. I'm going to have to probably read some of the writing to figure out what that is. I'm just looking at this graphic and being like, okay, there's project manager. I see that he has to work with an architect and building service engineer. And maybe like these are all positions that are all kind of at this middle level of construction manager. Let's look a little further down. The lower level skilled workers, looks like they're apprentices and that type of thing. So maybe the way I have to read this is that the safety manager is where most people start out, and then they can be a superintendent, then a site manager, then a project manager, and a project assistant, a construction coordinator, purchasing coordinator, a building inspector, assistant project manager, structural engineer, construction assistant, building services engineer, architect, project manager, quality surveyor. Not sure. Probably what I would do is read everything here, read down here, then go back if there were any of these jobs that I didn't really understand, like construction coordinator. So it says it's also known as construction managers, organize and coordinate building projects. Sounds like it's just another word for the same thing. I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't looked it up. So I'd come down here and read it and find out that these are the people who are on the higher level, chief construction officer. And then I could also figure out, well, if I wanted to be a chief construction officer, how to become a paste. And then here's another article about how to become that person. So I could then read this and tell me what it would do. So that's the examples. What I just showed you is the examples of research, how to search the internet for that information. What I didn't show you is you could also go find real people doing those jobs and ask if they are willing to talk to you about how they got to do that work. This is actually the much better way. We just can't do that while we're in school, but that creates a relationship where maybe the person gets to know you. They think you're a hardworking person. Maybe they just like you as a person, almost like as a friend. And for those reasons, maybe they want to help you be introduced to other people or to get into training programs or help you save money. That's why it's so important to get to know people. But whenever you're first just starting out, this step of just looking for the information helps you look a lot more competent and makes the people who actually work there willing to invest their time because it's like, oh, okay, this person has spent some effort. So once I have that information, right, then I would probably on my paper be writing out some steps